In this video, we're going to look at the water cycle. The water cycle is how water circulates in the atmosphere, and obviously it's quite important for us to know that when we're looking at drainage, because the water that is hitting the road that we need to drain away is coming from the atmosphere. It's coming from rain mostly. So it's important that we understand the hydrological cycle, which is also known as the water cycle or the hydrologic cycle. They're all the same thing. They are concerned with the circulation of water within the atmosphere and on the land. So let's just start with the clouds. It is a cycle, so let's start with the clouds. Um, the uh, the water uh, precipitates, it rains. So basically rain is precipitation. It can also snow. So when it's cold, the water can come down as ice, lands on the ice caps um, where it forms snow. Now that snow can melt in the summer, and then it eventually flows down over land into the local water bodies, the streams and the uh, rivers, which eventually flow into lakes or coastal areas. Same with the rain, it lands on the land, flows into downhill into streams, uh, and then the streams flow into rivers, rivers flow into lakes or coastal areas. Some of the water that hits the ground is actually going to soak in. It's not going to flow over land, it's going to soak into the ground, it's going to become groundwater. The groundwater either sits below the ground and makes its way towards the lowest points, or it can actually um, resurface as springs and things like that. So we've got the surface runoff. So when the water hits the ground and starts moving across the ground, we call it runoff. Basically, it's rain running off the ground. So in the air, it's rain. When it hits the ground, it starts being called runoff. When it gets into our systems, we start calling it stormwater. So those are all referring to the different stages of the water as it moves through. So from the water bodies, um, the water can evaporate. So evaporation off the surfaces of water bodies, but also evaporation off the land, and also transpiration from plants. So when plants take water up into their system, they breathe out carbon dioxide and water, which also goes up into the air and condenses to become clouds. Once again, the clouds go on to drop rain and snow, and the whole cycle repeats. So it's useful to understand that whole water cycle. That's the natural water cycle. Once we start putting cities and things in there, we start disturbing that natural water cycle. And we'll be talking about that more as we go through these videos.